Well, my name is John Patrick Schöllgen. I was born in Solingen and I am a playwright, poet, actor, director, English teacher, and I also do some other things. I first got in touch with the theatre in grade 12. We were doing a very great version of Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. I got to play the role of Dogberry, which is still one of my favourite roles today. And, well, ever since I've, been active. And I started writing plays 2 years later. The first show that I wrote was Death Wore a Flannel Shirt, which was a, crime story parody, and it was very well received. We did it in 2005 with my old theatre group, Theatergesellschaft Burgemut, and that's, when a very unholy union was born, when I entered the world of directing, and in, 2013 I founded my very own group, the Dead Parrot Theatre. Our first show then was Irrlichter, which is sort of a, English ghost story, in the tradition of an English ghost story. And we also did a couple of other shows, about the Crown Prince of Austro-Hungary, for instance, Rudolph, and but also comedies. And now we are in the middle of a production of Nur über deine Leiche, which again is, an homage to Agatha Christie. I'm directing, acting, and I wrote the whole damn thing. Eventually they all come together, but in the beginning they're all quite different. Writing is the very first process that I normally start with, and inspiration comes to me when I least expect it. So I normally have a pen and paper on my nightstand, or sometimes even get up in the middle of the night when I have a nice idea and just write it down. I can actually never tell, when exactly a play is finished. It might take a week or two, or sometimes even a year, and as soon as I know that the play is about to, be completed, then I can start casting, I can start, the production. Yes, the production process basically is a lot of paperwork, sitting at my desk and thinking of, things that we need for the show and everything, so it's just a lot of list making, and then also going to the shops and buying them and talking to a lot of people. And writing and the production are basically what I do here in my little office. Then, which is of course the part that I like best, is the the directing process, the rehearsals and everything, because then I get in touch with the actors, and I can see how my creation starts living. That's basically the part that I like best, apart from the show when you get the audience reaction. Well, I would say that my work has, like life itself, has two sides. There is one quite bright and funny, because I just love writing comedies and I like to laugh a lot. But there's also, a very intimate and very, gloomy side to especially to my poetry, because poetry for me is very, intimate, very internal. I write about a lot of things that, keep me busy, even dark topics like death and everything. I think death is a topic that somehow, sticks its head around the corner in each and every play as well, and also in my poetry. Death, I think, is a topic that is, not exactly a taboo, but that people do not really like to talk about. First of all, it's inevitable, and it's still a topic that needs to be talked about. And it's also, there are other writers like Poe, for instance, who always has that topic somewhere in his work, and I also think that this it's a topic worth mentioning and worth dealing with. People just push it away and ignore it, and then all of a sudden they are surprised. Oh, how could that happen? And I've never felt that way. I've always thought that it's worth dealing with it and not shoving it away. first of all, I've always, especially when it comes to the stage, I've always seen myself as some kind of a storyteller. But you know, all my pieces have my plays have a certain you know, certain dark kind of humor to it that is, you know, evident throughout my work. You also find that in the darker poetry, and there's also still some kind of humor in it, and I think that's a link that connects all my plays. So one could not say that, okay, this is completely, you know, different from all the others, but they're all, you know, one big family, so to speak. For me, the arts are a kind of a second universe that I just, you know, like to plunge into, because the world outside is not very, you know, not very much to look at, and in this second universe I can, you know, develop stories and work out things the way that I like them, and well, that's particularly what I like about the arts, that they, well, you know, give me a way to deal with things that I want to deal with them, and without anybody telling me what to do, and yeah, that's particularly great. Well, I'm not trying to redirect the world, but I'm, you know, just trying to, you know, make myself comfortable in my own world. You know, a lot of people think that artists are, well, you know, unable to live in universe one. You know, they always think, okay, yeah, they have a, you know, they are drifting away into dreamland, and yeah, that they are not really part of a, you know, of the real society, but they are always, you know, that they have their heads up in the clouds, and yeah, and then it's sometimes very difficult to you know, show the people what we are really up to. But there are always people who think that they can easily judge art and say, well, yeah, this is good, this is not good, and I don't really think that that's what art is for. You know, of course, if you you know, make things public, then you're always you make yourself vulnerable. That's clear. But you know, a lot of people don't really know, or is there really a, well, you know, a yardstick for art? And a lot of people think they know that there is, and they know that they can measure things, and that's sometimes difficult. People say, okay, well, this is good, this is not good, and they just have two drawers, and yeah, I'm not really sure if that is, well, that's not what art is about. Well, of course, it's the artist's job to, well, take people away from their ordinary lives, and to, well, show them that there are other things, you know, to well, some people just want to be entertained, and that's also what artists are for, and as well, not exclusively, but sometimes, and you know, it's that's our job, you know, to take people away from their desk seats, and show them that there are other things, you know, show them that there is maybe even beauty in films, in poetry, in music, you know, that not everything is just, you know, dull and grey, but that there's yeah, a different world as well. The artist has the right to show people his perspective. Humor can also be a kind of criticism, you know, telling people, okay, this and that is not exactly, you know, going the right way in our society. And even if it's just a comedy, you know, there might be, you know, tiny little hints and kicks to things that yeah, well, that annoy me even, you know, and I just put them into my things, into my shows, and they maybe just even to make people think about it, and they well, reconsider things. An attitude. Oxygen, the universe I prefer. Beauty, a way to say what's on my mind. A footprint.